Alright, what's up everyone? My name's Alan V. This isn't a video that I wanted to make, but I feel like I need to let this out to you all because this is more like a self-rant video or whatever you like to call it. But this is a story of how I got abused by JYP. For those of you who are new to this channel, please make sure to hit the subscribe and the notification bell button to see more content that I'll be posting in the future, especially in my K-pop auditions when I was back in Korea and overseas. This isn't a video I wanted to make repeating myself again, but this is actually going to be a touching one, and this isn't one of my exciting videos, but I do hope you guys stay locked in and find out what happened at that time when I was abused by JYP. Okay, so let's get started. So this happened back in February 2019, exactly 1 week after my YG scam audition, or should I say the other time when I was nearly scammed by 2 judges who asked me to hand over thousands and thousands of dollars just for me to have my chance to do a 3rd round private audition, which was all a scam. And at that time, I was still reeling from my loss. I was still trying to recover from what happened back then. I was still traumatized by what they tried to do to me, and at the same time I felt like, you know what, life must go on. Like, these type of things happen, I can't really do much about it, and I can't really debate or fight about it. So the only thing I could do was just keep practicing and see what company I could land. So at the time, JYP were holding 2 times a month auditions, so like they hold the first audition in the first week of every month and the 3rd week of each month. Pretty much like a monthly audition, and so I was planning to attend one of those, and because it was the beginning of February, I had to attend that audition. So what I did was, because JYP is known for their dancing more than their singing and their rapping, what I did was I prepared a dancing round this time. The dance that I decided to choose was one from Kinjus, which was There Goes My Baby. This is actually a really cool choreography if you guys want to try it out, and it's pretty super hard and super complicated, and I wanted to show them the complexity of how good this choreography was. So what I did was I was practicing non-stop. Like, I went out to the backyard of the hotel and I was just like pretty much practicing here and there all the moves and trying to perfect every single angle and every single move and every single emotion that's encompassed in the choreography. And to be quite frank with you, it was a really difficult choreography to dance to, but at the same time I feel like I need to keep pushing ahead and just so that I could show the judges how much I wanted to be part of the JYP company. So I just practiced every day and every night, and even the hotel owners were a bit confused to why I was out late at night. I told them, oh, I was just practicing. And at the same time, when I was still partying in the Hongdae, I was still trying to remember the moves here and there and try to relax myself a bit, because at the time I was just really overthinking and all that. Yikes. So fast forward to the day of the audition, which was on a Sunday. So pretty much it's like, if you guys want to audition for JYP, they hold it on a Sunday on the 1st or the 3rd week of every single month. So it was a Sunday, which the day came, and then I pretty much made my way to the JYP Entertainment Center. And needless to say, this trip took me like an hour to get there. Like, it was so freaking long. I had to take the train from Hongdae and I had to keep changing like 2 or 3 times just to get there, and it was a bit of a trek. But to be honest with you, like, nothing was gonna stop me from auditioning for this company. Like, nothing was gonna stop me from getting my spot at JYP. So by the time I arrived, I was actually a bit surprised on how long it took, and I actually got there at 9 o'clock, which was pretty much like 1 hour away from when the supposed audition time started. Just then, what I did was I went to the nearest coffee place to have some tea, and I was just pretty much waiting there. But at the same time, I was replaying my moves on my iPhone, and I was trying to make sure I perfected every single move on the chairs. Like, I was doing a bit like this and that, trying to get every single angle right, even though they weren't really correct and all that. And I also tried to make sure I got my emotions ready, and I had to make sure I got my Korean pronunciations ready, because I wanted to show them that I wanted it and I was capable of taking on any task that I was planning to do.
Few moments later.
No people were there. I was a bit strange. It was a bit strange, like, what? How come no one's showing up on this date? I was so confused to why this was happening, but I had to find out anyway. So what I did was I just left the coffee shop. I went inside the JYP Entertainment Center, and then I asked them, hey, is the audition getting held today? They told me in Korean, didn't really understand. And so I'm like, sorry, can you please translate it? So what they did was they got out their phone, they translated what they said in Korean, and they handed it to me. It turns out that because it was Seoul now, which is pretty much the Korean version of Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year, or pretty much like any single celebration that happens, it was pretty much a public holiday for all South Koreans, and so no one was working at that time. So that's the reason why the auditions were held off until next week. I was a bit devastated, but it was quite understandable. I'm like, okay, kamsahamnida. And just before I was about to leave, something popped in my mind. I'm like, I didn't want to show up to JYP only to get turned down. And so what I did was I decided to make a really strange request. I typed up all of my thoughts into the phone I gave to them. My thoughts were, hey, I know you guys aren't meant to be working on this public holiday, and I do understand that you guys need to take a break or to celebrate or whatsoever, but I really want to audition for your company, and I really want to be a part of your label, and I really want to show you how bad I wanted it. And so can you please give me a chance to prove myself? Can you at least give me a private round audition with me? Like, I was really begging like a puppy with two puppy eyes, that I was trying to make sure I wanted to show them that how bad I really wanted it. Like, I was like, please give me a chance to prove myself, like, please. And then eventually the staff typed on their phone and sent it back.
You want to become a K-pop idol? Get in shape first.
And at the time, I was really shocked by how they responded. I was like, why are you commenting on my figure? And then I was so shocked and confused. Next thing you know, they were laughing at me like non-stop. They laughed at me while at the same time they were handing me their phone back, saying how I would never make it as a K-pop idol because I did not fit within the Korean beauty standards, and how I was taken as a joke, and pretty much not to mention the thought that I wasn't fit to be an idol because I was fat and out of shape. And at the time, yes, I was fat and out of shape because I didn't really take my exercise and my diet seriously, but I wanted to show them that I was willing to lose it off and all that. The more I tried to show them, the more they kept on laughing and laughing at me. Like, I was really getting pissed off at this moment. Eventually, I just wanted to cry in this point. Like, I tried to not to show my emotion, but inside I was just like breaking down and crying. And then what I did was I eventually fired shots back at them. I told them, why are you treating me like this? Like, I just want to audition in front of you. I really want to show you how bad I wanted it. And then afterwards, the staff went out and got 2 security guards to drag me out and throw me out of the building. It was so disgraceful the way how they treated me like this. And by then, they were just laughing non-stop while I was on my way back home crying. Like, honestly, like, it was one of the worst days of my life. It was pretty much like getting 2 knives stabbed in my chest. Not from the YG audition scam, but also from the JYP unfair treatment that I received. And I just didn't really feel like talking to anybody. Like, it kind of ruined my spirit of trying to continue to audition. And on the way back, like, I don't know what to say anymore, but I'm just out of words at this point. But at the end of the day, like, life must go on. I have to keep going. And at the time, like, I only had 2 more weeks left in my Korean trip, but I just had to keep going on and try to forget it. But every single time I went out, or every single time I tried to do my activities in Korea, or trying to seek for more auditions, this thing really resonated in my head, and I was just really traumatized about what happened. Like, if they aren't treating me right, will they ever treat their artists right? Like, gosh. Alright, so thank you so much for watching this video. This wasn't a really easy video for me to film, but I feel like I need to get it out of me so I can communicate my pain, my anger, and my heartbreak towards you guys. But before I end this video, I want to deliver a message to JYP myself that you can resonate with. JYP, from the moment I auditioned for your company back in 2010, ever since my friend took me to audition for you, I was inspired to continue to keep on pursuing my dreams of becoming an artist underneath you, especially because I've looked up to you for so long, ever since you took my friend in. And afterwards he debuted 7 years later. Like, honestly, that's just very inspiring, and that's very courageous, and that's honestly very generous of you to debut my friend just like this. And because of that, I went out of my way to fund for this trip. I spent long hours working at a post office just to get all the money. I spent long hours practicing my singing, dancing, and my Korean so that I could give you the best version of me as possible. And I have to make sure I work on my character because I know how important character is within your company. And because of that, like, I sacrificed so much for you just to prove that how bad I really wanted it. I wanted to give you the impression and the character that I'm a hustler. I'm willing to die for my dreams. I'm willing to go after it, especially with you. And what did you do? Your company went out of their way to insult my figure, my shape, how fat or how chubby I was, and how I don't fit within the Korean standards. Like, honestly, like, this thing really breaks my heart because I wanted to show you the character of how bad I really wanted to be a part of this company. Like, honestly, your staff having to laugh at me about it and take me as a joke? Come on, this really breaks my heart a lot. And to be honest with you, I'm trying not to show too much emotion here, and even though I wasn't really back in shape back then and that I didn't fit within the Korean standards, like, honestly, like, I wanted to get rid of it and also get myself in shape and get myself within the Korean standards so then I could be the best version of myself as possible as an artist. Like, honestly, like, this thing really breaks me that you went out and insulted me like this. And not to mention, you didn't do anything about it. Like, you didn't even broadcast it on the news, and you didn't even have the chance to even apologize to me. Like, honestly, what the heck? Now that I come to think about it, it's like, do you even treat your artists right? Are you even take into account the character like you claim you do? Do you even take into consideration their mental health and their well-being? Also, like, if your staff is going out to insult me like this, I don't know what happens behind the scenes, especially towards my friend who's part of your company right now. Like, honestly, like, what's going on? And because of that, it's like, I don't even know if I would be part of your company anymore, even if I was to turn back 10 years back then when I auditioned for you, or if I was to be a younger version of myself. Like, honestly, I don't even know if I would even be a part of your company if you treated me like this back when I wanted to audition for you. Okay, so thank you so much for hearing me out on this rant. Like, honestly, like, I struggled to get so much words out of me because I was all full up in my emotions and I just didn't even know what to feel anymore. But make sure you subscribe, hit that like button and the notification bell to see more content that I'll be posting in the future. This is the story of how I got abused by JYP. Until next time, take it easy.